You win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day.
Fight. It's not that easy. Nope.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Is everyone ready for a sales battle? Of course, myself, I'm Paul Steinmetz, CEO of Endless Rise, and this is the first airing of Ultimate Sales Battle. I'll be bringing on the contender later on. Some of you might have heard of him before. A legendary fighter by the name of Trevor Boylan will be on board, playing the role of the client, and of course, I will be playing the role of the salesman. So hopefully you all got your popcorn ready, because we're going to be kicking off here in a little bit. I'm going to be going over the outline of the sales battle. Since this is the first one, I need to go over the outline of what we're sticking to and some basics along with that, so you're able to follow along and understand how we're talking about, why we're talking about it, and in what series, right? Client in mind here, as people are still trickling on board, they're going to want to know what's going on. Introducing the client, which is Alder Family Dentistry. This one's out of Vancouver, Washington. I thought a dentist would be a good one to go over because they have good profit margins. There's a lot of them everywhere, and probably everyone's pitched a dentist at some point in their career, and so this should be a good all-around pitch to be going off of. I'm going to be pitching the dentist, mobile responsive design, SEO, and also social media at the same time. So it should be a good one. So it looks like we got enough people on board now. The inbound people are rounding out. So let me get into the PowerPoint, and I'll go ahead and bring on Trevor. Trevor, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, guys. How's things? I hope you're ready to rumble.
Trevor Boylan, ladies and gentlemen, legendary, difficult person to close on the phone is his specialty on his background. I don't know how better to say it. Okay, so before we jump into it, you should be familiar with your arsenal of sales tools. You have your, we have the turn one lead into 50 workflow in the webinar archive. If you're not familiar with the webinar archive, you should be. So in the webinar archive, let me see if I can get into this. You should be able to go to resources, video library, of course, and in the webinar archive, because whenever we jump into this, right, we're jumping right into a role play. So we're not going over lead generation tactics. That's not what this is about. This is about the role play. So we're skipping the part on, hey, how do I find that lead? But you should know in your resources that you can go to video library and get into the webinar archive. In the webinar archive, there's the training on how to turn one lead into 50, and there's a couple lead generation videos in there. And my computer's running slow because I'm recording on GoToWebinar right now. But anyways, resources, video library, go to the webinar archive, and if you haven't seen those videos, you want to see those videos, right? So you should all have your lead generation tactics. You should know your tools involved in them as well. And so, yes, make sure that you review the Turn One Lead into 50 video. Endless Goldmine software generation tool is coming soon. Many of you might have the some lead generation software already. You have your keyword research reports that you get from the sales team whenever you submit a proposal request, and it comes with a competition analysis. You should know that. Those are on the introductory videos. And then you should have your online presence report as well, and PPC grader report if you needed one, which we won't be utilizing that, right? So before jumping into the role-playing what's your inner game? One of the things we're going to be focusing on is you as a consultant. Now, a lot in the past, and if you all been through the conferences or other coaching seminars, you hear about all kinds of things that you can give away to get your foot in the door, right? Can people give some shout-outs on some free things that they give away to get your foot in the door, just so I can get a list going here? Free things to get your foot in the door. Yeah, you give out site audit reports, right? What else might you give away? Some of you might give away. Anybody? Anyone give anything free away to get your foot in the door in an email? Anybody? No shout-outs? Video review, reputation report. Tim gives hugs out. Yeah, I definitely got closed on a lot of car sales off of hugs. Kidding. Google Plus optimization. That's interesting. Ranking report, competitive analysis, Facebook audit. Okay. Mobile website given away. Okay. So a lot of things given away for free. Free reports. Okay. Now, what I'm going to be talking to you about is you getting your foot in the door with offering free consulting. Now, a lot of people give away free things because they might not feel that they have a level of consulting or that their time on the phone is not valuable, so to speak, on a consulting session. Maybe on the phone calls, whenever you set them up, you're relying a lot on sales jargon and just wit and tact and things like that to try to get you through the sale, right? So what we want to teach you on this role play is how to use yourself, your wisdom, your knowledge as consulting. That's valuable. If you're going to go and you need to ask questions to an attorney, for example, are they going to give you away stuff for free, or is the best thing they could ever give away to free for you would be consulting? So we want to teach people how to give technical consulting. So what's your inner game? You are a professional marketing consultant. At the end of the day, that needs to be your most powerful asset, right? You're a professional marketing consultant. Your time is worth money. Your time is worth money, okay? So the premise of this role play is establishing trust through intelligence. You want your client to respect your time, or your lead to respect your time, and to understand that the time that you're going to be giving to them in a consulting session is worth money, and it's something that's worth their while being on the phone for, whether they use your services or not, that you're a sought-after consultant for your intelligence and your knowledge and what you can show to them. Your time is valuable, and you're sharing your expertise and valuable time in your consulting session that you're going to offer them. You're going to let them know how much time that you're going to be able to offer to them, right? Sandra says, I've been called a strategic web coach. Felt good. Absolutely. Your time should be the most valuable thing. Now, if you give them a report, or you give them this, or you give them that, it's nice to give things out for free, but if you just hand something to someone, is it really valuable to them without your consulting on top of it? Right? You know what I mean? So, for instance, if you didn't know the stock market and you went to a stockbroker and he said, I'm going to give you a free trending analysis report of the stocks. You're like, okay, but you forgot. I don't know anything about stocks. So I do appreciate the free report, but if you're not giving me the time to give me the consulting, it doesn't mean anything to me. So keep in mind, your consulting is good. Additionally, you're a fighter and you choose to battle wisely, which means you pick and choose your clients, right? Which is important. Sales structure. Now, this is really, really important, and something that, although, keep in mind, this is the first sales battle airing, but I need to take a little bit of time to talk to you about structuring your sales calls. And why is because a lot of people do not have structure in their sales calls on what they're going to be talking about. So, you know, there's so many different ways to go about sales calls. You can read on it all the time. There's no predetermination to how many calls it's going to take to close a client, or how many emails if it had to be that. So keep in mind, this is just a rough structure. Now, chances are, unless it was a friend of yours that set you up with their local dentist and said, hey, I told them that you're amazing, they said they'd get on the phone and talk with you, all right, maybe you could just schedule a consulting session. Typically, if you're doing a cold call, or if someone responded to an email and you're going to hit them up on the phone and try to get a scheduled meeting with them, in that scenario, when you're first breaking grounds with them, you've called someone, you got through the gatekeeper, you got the decision maker or someone who could be a decision maker on the line, and you've got your first phone call with them. Now, keep in mind, that person that you're talking to, they're going to be busy, right? They're an important person. Now, do you think you're just going to be able to call someone and spend 30 minutes on the phone with them? If you're going to do a cold call, or if you just got, you sent out an email blast or whatnot, someone responded and said, I'm interested, you picked up that phone to get them on the phone because phone is good to use, right? How much time do you think you have on that first phone call to get them interested, get them wanting to have your consulting, make them know that you are likable, right? And be able to get more time with them. How much time do you think that you have on that first phone call in that situation? Anyone? Yvette says 5 to 10 minutes. Scott says 2 minutes. Dave says 45 seconds. Don't call Dave. Ricardo says 2 minutes. Donna says 2 seconds. 15 minutes? 3 minutes? Robert says 5 minutes. I'm going to go with 5 minutes for just general purposes. But yes, in the very beginning, your first 30 seconds is extremely, extremely important, right? So this is what you really got to understand. On your first phone call, if you're breaking the ground for the first time with them on the phone and it wasn't pre-scheduled, which, you know, if you're pushing sales hard, that's always going to be your situation for the most part. You don't have a lot of time. So you have to structure and prepare for your first phone call, and your structuring involved in it needs to be less than 5 minutes. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? That's a really, really quick phone call. Okay, Now, on that phone call, what we're going to be recommending is that on the first phone call, you need to get past a factor of likability. You need to get past what you're trying to say to them, and you need to let them know that what you're going to be offering to them. You need to let them know what they're going to get out of it, and you need to be transparent about what you're trying to get out of it. How many of you, whenever you get someone to call you on the phone and they offer you just something for free in the first 5 minutes, are skeptical? Anyone? Anyone skeptical? Someone calls you on the phone and says, I have really good news for you. Guess what? This is the best day of your life. And what are you sitting there thinking? Okay, well, maybe it could be, but what do you get out of it? So you want to make transparent, what is it that you're going to get out of it? Why are you calling me? You're not calling me just to help me. This isn't charity work. What are you going to get out of it? So whenever you call them on the first phone call, what do you want? You've got to establish a likability factor right away. You've got to be able to let them know why you're calling them, that it's a legitimate reason, what you have to offer to them, and be transparent so that they're not suspicious. What you plan on getting out of the situation, right? Does that make sense to everyone? How many of you do that in the first phone call? Likability, let them know what you have to offer to them, and let them know what you're going to try to get out of it. But how do you do that in an intelligent fashion in less than 5 minutes? Is that difficult? I think so. Yes, it is. Prep work, sales work, role play necessary? I think so, right? Like Jim says, I love the ones that call and say, this is not a sales call. Well, it is, right? All right. So now on the first phone call, we're going to set that up. Hopefully it goes smooth on the role play, and I'm able to get past the gatekeeper. I'm able to establish a level of likability off the bat, and I'm able to let them know what I have to offer to them, which is the consulting session, and I'm able to let them know what I'm going to try to get out of it. But what I'm going to do in the first meeting is I'm going to let them know what I have to offer to them, and then I'm going to let them know that that consulting is valuable for them, whether or not they, what? Do business with me or not. Whether they can take it and leave it, right? Now, if they want it, if they like the consulting on it and they take it, then great. If they don't like the consulting on it, then we don't need to move forward, right? So I'm going to be offering on my first phone call to break the ice consulting. I'm going to offer them something that's valuable. I'm going to let them know that they have problems on their site. And what do I need to do to get them interested in my consulting? Say, I'm calling you. You're a marketing company. I call you out of the blue and I say, hey, you know what? I want to give you consulting. What do I need to do to get you excited about that consulting and get you interested in it? How about a teaser? How about you got pages that aren't loading on your site? How about your site doesn't show up well at all on my mobile phone? I just bounced off of it, right? How about you're not ranking and I saw your competition's beating you up? I already took time to research you and you have major issues. Teasers on what you would go through in your consulting session. Does that make sense? Jerry says, your slides are not changing. Are they supposed to? Not yet. I'm getting through the basics on the meeting outline, okay? And afterwards, whenever I send out the recording on this later on, I'll be sending out a Word document that talks more about the different call phases. So on the second phone call, right, I'm going to give them their consulting session. That's what I promised to them. I'm going to build up the value on something that's worth $300 on a consulting session using tools. You all have different tools, and if not, I'll show you some tools, and we give you tools as well. So the second phone call is for who? Is that about you, or is that about them? First phone call, you told them you'd give them something, and that's your gift to them, and if they like it, they can engage with you. If they don't, you don't call them again. Leave them alone. Find another client. Make sense? That second phone call isn't about your company. It's not about what you can do for them. It's not about your services. It's not about how much you charge. Does everyone hear that really well? It's about them. The consulting session is about them. It's about their site. It's about the analysis of their site. It's about what their competitors are doing. It's everything about them. Okay? You give them their gift first. Now, after you're done with that second phone call, if they're interested in your services, you can get into that. Chances are they're going to be booked for time, and you're going to want to make sure that they're interested now and wanting to know what do you have to offer to them. How much is it going to cost? But by now, you've gone through all of this analysis. You've been on the phone for a long time. But that second phone call, although you are not pitching your company, you weren't pitching your services, you're not talking about cost. That second phone call is a sales call, though. And why? Because this is a consultative industry, and that second sales call is all about establishing trust through intelligence. Does that make sense to everyone? Establishing trust through intelligence. That's what consulting is all about. Whenever you're calling around looking for someone and they just give you direct consulting and you say, I'm really impressed, you just sold them without telling them about your company or what you do off of your consulting. That's one of the best ways to close a sale. Okay, so at the end of that second call, if they want to get into your services, you can. They're probably going to already be a little bit overloaded with everything that you went over, and you are establishing trust through intelligence. Then comes the follow-up call. So whenever you're closing out the second call, you want to make sure that you know that they're interested and make sure that they're willing to jump on a third phone call. Go ahead and schedule it, and you're going to go over what you can do for them, what you're going to pitch them. You're going to go over what their budget is on how much they have to spend in marketing and what you recommend that they spend, and then you're going to try to close them on that third phone call. But what this does is it allows you to take control of the situation. If you don't have structure to what you're doing for people on the phone in terms of a consultation, it's not a consultation. Does that make sense? You got to stay on. You want to stay on track for the most part. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of different situations where you can bounce around all over the place, but you want to know what are your boundaries, what are your barriers, how is the structure going to work, how are you being transparent about it, and how do you keep a conversation on track if there's no track? How do you keep a conversation on schedule if there's no schedule? You need a schedule. How do you act like your time is valuable if there's no formal consulting session in place? Does that make sense? Good. Everyone's saying yes. Wonderful. Okay, Fran's saying, so this is all done on the phone, not in person. You can do it on the phone. You can do it in person. You can do it on Skype, and you can be on the phone and in person at the same time, okay, which I do recommend. So the first call, left jab, test the waters, and you might get lucky. Well, lucky isn't the best word that I would choose for it, but I would say that it's a word that, let's face it, one of the most difficult things is getting through the gatekeeper. Right? That's one of the most difficult things. So you got to get through the gatekeeper. You got to get on to be able to talk with the decision maker is what you need to be able to do. And that's what we're going to be doing role playing in the first phone call. So you've got 5 minutes on the first phone call, introduce the value of the consultation, what's in it for them, set up a free consultation on a phone call, and you got to make it count. You got to make it interesting for them. You got to make it something that they need, and preferably, and I know that most of you out there do not like to do a hard sale. But you don't have to do a hard sale. But if you don't have a sense of urgency in sales, right? And let me repeat this again because I think this applies to the majority of everyone. Almost everyone on the line is technical to a certain degree, I would assume. And the majority of all companies that I've talked to that are marketing agencies are not hard closers. They're soft closers. They take a consultative approach. But you can do a pseudo hard close because what do you need in sales to keep the sale moving? You need a sense of urgency. You write that down. Sense of urgency. Everyone in sales has a sense of urgency. Everybody. Everybody. Every good salesperson in the world brings a sense of urgency to the table. When you're in a sales call, ask yourself, do I bring a sense of urgency at all when I'm in a consulting session? How many of you bring a sense of urgency? How many of you focus on that and saying, how am I supposed to close this sale? Do your sales on even people that are interested with you drag out days on days on days, on weeks on weeks on weeks, and you're wondering why you can't close them quicker? Do you not have a sense of urgency? Have you not figured out how to bring a sense of urgency through to them? Well, Sales 101. No sense of urgency, expect a long sale, dragged out. Okay? Make sense? So, role play, fight. Time for the first fight, round one. So we're going to do a role play on getting through the gatekeeper and through the first phone call. Okay? So let me take you through again on the client profile here. I've got Alder Family Dentistry. Now, before you call them for the first time, you want to know a couple things you can point out that they really have wrong on their website, right? So what are some tools that you can use? You can use a lot of different free tools that are out there. Right? Does anyone want to throw out some free SEO tools that they run? One of the main things that you want to point out is find if they have any 404 errors. Why? Because whenever you call them, you can tell them that their portions of their site are completely down and inaccessible. Does that bring a sense of urgency to the table? Hey, it's one thing not to be ranking in Google, but what if your pages aren't loading? So what did I do? I used a simple 404 error finder tool, which I'll be going over with you, and you all should know how to find one. And in here, I found their 404 errors. Look at that. Their Zoom whitening page doesn't load. their policies page doesn't load, and bingo, look what I'm going to load in with. About Our Doctors does not load. Really, watch this. I go to the site, I go to Our Office, I go to About Our Doctors. How many people, when they go to a dentist site, want to know about the doctors? All right, so you've got your sense of urgency to get in the door. You call someone up and you say, listen, I know that you're busy, but hey, you know what? Your page isn't loading. Portions of your website are down. Screw your rankings, right? Your website's down in certain portions. Oh, you want to know what? I tell you what, you get me on the phone for 30 minutes to give you a full consultation, and here's what I'll pass over to you. And I'll tell you what pages are down. I'll let you know how you're going to go about fixing them. And I'm going to go through a full run-through on a full-blown consulting session with you that I typically charge people for. But, you know, I'm a professional marketing consultant, and I sought you out of everyone. And I think I can do you a lot of good. Okay, so before you get on the phone to close them, you want to find a couple of things that you can give to them as teasers on why they need to talk to you. If their online marketing is 100% perfect, if their site is perfectly perfect, if they don't have anything wrong that you can just pull 2 or 3 things and throw it out there at them to get a teaser on why they want to have a consulting session for you, you have no sense of urgency. There's no reason for them to say, I need to get on that phone call in 2 days. I need to be on that call. I got problems. Does that make sense? Which also means that whenever you're seeking out people to cold call or get a hold of or, you know, really track down, you want to find things that are wrong. So I found 404 errors on this website. This website is also not mobile compliant. It doesn't look good on mobile devices. And also I found on them that whenever I did you can do a spot check ranking analysis. I did a full-blown ranking analysis on them. Now, you don't have to do this ahead of time, but I found out that one of the biggest problems they have is they're not ranking at all. So they have issues, all right? So you need a couple of things in your ammunition. I'm going to be using terminology like you're not Google compliant. You have ranking issues. There's problems with your website that is going on that's keeping you from ranking. It's not mobile responsive. I landed on your site, and your site did not respond properly for me, so I bounced off of it on my mobile phone. I clicked on a couple pages, stuff that I really wanted to find out about you. Your pages are not even loading. And then whenever I try to find you in the maps and the search engines, you weren't there. And, you know, what I do is I go around and I try to find people that I can really help in marketing, and I definitely know that you need the help, right? So does everyone get that? You got to do some digging to find some dirt to show a sense of urgency when you get on that phone to close that first call. Okay? Make sense to everyone? Okay, wonderful. Let's get down to the round 1 role play battle. Okay, let me get my PowerPoint pulled. Actually, I don't need a PowerPoint up here. So I'm going to call in to Alder Family Dentistry, and I'm going to get a gatekeeper that's on the line. But before I jump on there, Trevor, do you have any anything that I missed before we go into the first role play meeting?
I don't think so, apart from my first role play. I will be playing a secretary, but I won't be doing the voice. So it'll be a secretary with a quite deep voice. So you guys are going to have to use your remote.
Are you saying that there is not such a thing as male secretaries, Trevor? I think some women might be offended by that. Okay.
There is today, and it's me.
All right. Well, it's a very handsome secretary at that, and as Trevor's giving you a point out, that dentists have very brutal gatekeepers. Okay? So, all right, we're going to do a role play on this. So I am now ringing Alder Family Dentistry. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello, Alder Dentistry. Your pain is our gain.
You cut out there. Hey, yeah, this is Paul with Advanced Marketing. I was giving you guys a call because you actually have some pages down on your site, and I noticed it wasn't Google compliant, and it's kind of an urgency with what's going on your website, and I was wondering if I could talk to who's in charge of your marketing so you guys can address that.
I'm sorry, who's calling?
Oh, my name is Paul with Advanced Marketing. I was on your site because I was checking out your dental services, and your site's actually down on specific portions, and I noticed it wasn't Google compliant, so I know that's an urgency to all companies that have pages down. I wanted to just talk to who's in charge of your marketing real quick because you guys are a great dentist. I know you don't want portions of your site down.
Well, we're really busy at the moment. I don't quite know what do you mean our site is down?
Yeah, you got pages on your site that won't load. Trust me, this is pretty urgent to most companies. If you pass me through to whoever's in charge of your marketing, I'll be on and off the phone in 4 minutes, and they're going to come out and shake your hand and say, hey, you know what? Good job, because I needed to take that phone call, because this one's an important one.
Okay, if you hold the line, I'll put you through, but you're only going to have a couple of minutes talking to Mr. Aldo.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to freeze frame right there. So right now, in this situation, we're going to be transferred through to the decision maker, right? We're going to be transferred through to the guy that we got 2 to 3 to 4 minutes to get on the phone. Now, what I just went over was not dishonest, but hey, listen everyone, it's not easy to get past gatekeepers. And like Ricardo was even saying, the gatekeeper is usually not that soft. You really have to try to get through, and it might take a couple of phone calls. But with the sense of urgency and getting through, you have to come up with some tactics. It's not easy to get through. Calling in and saying, I would like to book a marketing meeting isn't going to cut it. You really need to find some ways to get through and bring a sense of urgency. In the real-world reality, you might need to follow up with an email, and you might need to call back as well a couple of times. It just depends. But if you get in there and you bring a sense of urgency and you point out things that are wrong, it's going to help you out, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and continue through to, Ben saying Trevor's a softie. Trevor, you better harden up. People are going to start talking smack on you. Not much of a fighter, is he, everyone? Does anyone have any comments for me on whenever I get to the decision maker? I got less than 5 minutes. Does anyone have any shout-outs on things that you want me to use in my arsenal on the next 5 minutes? Any tips? Anybody? Anyone? This is collective consulting here. Pipe up. Otherwise, I'm going to go on my own. No love, no help, nobody? You are losing clients. There we go. Evelyn says, how do you build a rapport with such an approach? Freestyle, says Ricardo. Let's do it. All right, let's bring on the dentist. Unfreeze frame. Here comes Dr. Aldo.
Hello, Mr. Aldo. Can I help you?
Hey, Mr. Aldo, my name's Paul with Advanced Marketing. I appreciate you taking the phone call. I'd let your receptionist know that you had issues on your site. You actually had pages that were down. I asked for who was in charge of the marketing because I know it's pretty important for most people to address that right away. So I was calling to let you know that you've got portions of your site that are down right now and that your site wasn't mobile compliant. That your site was not Google compliant at all. I was wondering if you had a couple minutes just to talk about that. I promised I'd be on and off in 4 minutes.
I'm very busy at the moment. I get these calls all day long, and I did actually tell my secretary not to put any more of these calls through.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't like to be bothered either when I'm really busy. But I tell you what, when portions of my website are down, I like to address it. So whenever I see these kind of problems on someone's website, I say to myself, well, I know that they want to know because if people called you and told you the problems that you got on your site right now, they would have already been fixed, right? Like your About Us page is down. I can't read about you. So I go on your site and I want to know about you guys so I can come and use you as a dentist, but I can't read about you.
What do you mean our site's down?
Well, if you went on your website right now and clicked on your About Us page, ooh, that's an important page, really important. It's down completely. So people go to that page, it's down, you're not getting clients. So I know you're busy right now, but it's always better to be busier, right? So I was analyzing your site. That's what I do. Call me an online geek, but I also run an online marketing company, of course. But I came across your site, beautiful site, great dental practice, and you're not having rankings, your competitors are beating you, and your pages aren't loading. I know that you're going to need some help with this. Oh, I was calling you to offer you a consulting session on it and let you know how to get this fixed. I'll do it for free.
There's something broken on our site.
Yeah, you've got several pages that are broken. It also doesn't load up in mobile sites to where people will read it, so you're going to lose your mobile audience as well. But I tell you what, listen, I know that you're busy. I wanted to get through and let you know of your immediate emergencies on your site and what's wrong with it. And these are things that can be fixed pretty easily. What I was wanting to offer to you was a consulting session. It'd be about 30 minutes on another call, and I'd offer you a consulting session to go over everything that's wrong on your site. And the reason why I'm offering it is because you have a good practice, you've got a good business model. I know that you need help, but I'm offering you a free consulting session. I'd go over all the different variables on your site. I teach you everything that you need to know. And if you're not impressed with the consulting, if you don't like it, I'll never talk to you again.
Yeah, I'm very busy at the moment. Can you just tell me what it is that's broken on my site? I appreciate the fact that you can, but if you can just tell me, then I'll just get our IT guy to fix it.
Well, one of the things you can check out is your About Us page. There's actually a lot more. What I'm offering is to spend about 4 or 5 hours of my time to be able to get in there to figure out everything that's wrong and to really let you know. Because if you just fix one thing, it's going to be that. But my main goal is to be able to let you know what you need to know to get in the ball game with your competitors. I mean, I typically stay away from dentists because they cause me nightmares, but in your situation, I'm on the other side of the table wanting to help you.
So why am I going to give you some more time? I mean, yeah, I've listened to these type of calls before a lot, and everybody wants to speak to me and everybody wants to help me. You know, why am I going to say yes to you? You know, I'm pretty annoyed that my secretary's actually put you through. So what is it? What is it that you're going to do for me that's different to all these other guys that are calling me?
Well, I'm a bit different because I'm really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and I'll just be perfectly transparent. I'm going to go through on a consulting session that I want to have with you, and I'll make it all about you. I won't talk about my company. I won't pitch you on my services in the next meeting. And I'm going to go through and let you know everything that you need to know on what's going on with your marketing right now, what you need to be doing, and I'm going to give you so much value that I promise you're going to walk away from it and say, I'm really glad that I had that consulting session. From there, if you're interested in talking to me about my services from there, we can do another phone call. I'm just being transparent. Of course, I'm not calling you out of pure charity, but I promise you the intelligence that I'm going to bring to you off of the consulting session is going to be something that is what you need to fix your site and get you the more traffic, because I already spent a couple hours analyzing your site. I really did. I know you need help, and I know that you're busy. I tell you what, you give me 30 minutes of your time, and I promise you that's going to pay off for you. If you don't do business with me, it doesn't matter. Whatever I say to you, you're going to walk away and say, hey, now that was valuable, and that's a rare phone call to get.
Well, how much is this going to cost me? I mean, giving you time is going to cost me. How do I know that it's going to be worth it? Because you may turn around and go, it's going to be X amount, and you know, I've just wasted some time giving you a consult, letting you consult with me, and you know, it's going to be far more than I have any intention of paying.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. It's, you know, there's a difference between people that are real consultants and people that are just trying to sell you something. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're interested, I'll try to sell you something. But it's kind of like someone walking into your dental office and saying, my mouth's messed up. And you say, I can fix that for you. And then they turn around back to you and they say, yeah, how much is it going to cost? You say, I got to do an x-ray, I got to do a checkup, we got to go through the screening process on everything, and I've got to look into it, and then we've got to figure out what priorities are to what, and we've got to figure out if you have insurance and what's your budget. And there's really quite a process involved with real consulting. You're a real professional, I'm a real professional, and I got to get through about 4 or 5 hours worth of research and then get through consulting with you, and then we got to talk about your business and a little bit of business consulting as well. There's quite a bit to it, but I tell you what, I can get through it and put things down on terminology that you'll be able to understand, and you'll be grateful you took the phone call.
I'll tell you what, I'll do you a deal. I'll give you 15 minutes of my time, not now, maybe next week sometime, but in exchange for that 15 minutes, I want you to buy some dentistry from me. How about that?
I tell you what, I'm in the neighborhood and I ever need dental work. You got it. I'll stop by.
Sound like a yes to me. Doesn't sound like a yes to me.
That's a yes. So what time next week would you be available? Because I'm going to have to put 4 or 5 hours work into it, so I need at least 2 days to get things prepared.
We'll do it a week today. We'll do it a week today, but I'm only going to give you 15 minutes. And I can promise you that it'll better be good, or you won't be talking to me for very long.
I gotcha. But I can't pack an elephant into a car, so I'm going to need about 30 minutes. So I tell you what, if you're not happy with the consulting at any point in time, just hang up the phone, and it's fine. I won't call you back. But if you're happy with it, just do me a favor. Try to block off about 30 minutes, because I got about 4 or 5 hours worth of my own research to pack into that 30 minutes. Sound like a deal?
If it's going well, you'll get the 30 minutes. But I am going to hold you. If I'm not happy with what you say, then I am going to hold you to the fact that you promised me that you will be throwing me some work. So let's see what happens, and I'll make my mind up probably within the first 10 minutes as to whether I'm going to give you that time. So you're a lucky guy, but I hope that your bite is as good as your bark.
No problem. Oh, I have confidence in what I'm going to bring to your table. All right. So I know you're a busy guy. I know you need to get back to your patients. I tell you what, if you don't mind, I'll just, if you can transfer me back to your receptionist and let her know that we're going to book the meeting, I'll go ahead and get on the line with her and get the meeting scheduled.
Okay, and your name is again, so I can make sure that I'm here when you call again. Your name is?
My name is Paul.
Okay, Paul. I'll speak to you next week.
Thank you, Dr. Elder. Okay, so we'll freeze frame there. Yeah, Rob says, I don't want this guy. He's going to be a major pain in the ass. Ben says, Paul needs a new crown. Yeah. And someone says, Trevor talks too slow. Yeah, true. Okay, so Trevor will talk quicker. Now, that, you know, there's a lot of different situations when you're on the phone. Delilah says, scary. It's not scary, but what you need to know is you need to believe that you can really help them. Listen, I did search out this client. I did look for someone that had problems, and I did look for someone that I knew that I could help, right? I know that I can help him. He's not ranking. He's got a nice site, but he has issues in his site. He's got issues, right? So these people are busy. If you want to be able to call and get your foot in the door, you need to be a little bit aggressive. Now, I didn't hard close him on anything, okay? So people that take a step back and they get a little bit worried on saying, hey, you know, I don't want to be a hard closer. I don't want to push people. I don't want to pressure anybody. They might get off the phone. Yeah, but what kind of pressuring are you putting on them? You're telling them that you've got problems that you need to fix, right? So you do need to get your foot in there. There is a certain amount of pressure that you do need to put on someone. Listen, as long as someone's not hanging up that phone and telling you to go take a hike, then you're okay, right? Jim says the hardest ones to get into usually turn out to be the easiest sale. And with guys that are businessmen, they have a certain amount of respect for people that can get them on the phone and stay on the phone. So you gotta fight for it a little bit. It's not going to be easy. That's one of the biggest things that you need to learn from role plays like this is it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Like Rob said, sell or be sold. Okay? Does that make sense? That first phone call might be a battle. I'm sure that if Trevor was going to give some feedback on how that first one would have gone, he would have said, hey, you need to probably spend more time establishing a likability factor if you have time. How are you going to establish a likability factor if you're just trying to get to the point really quick? You can try to crack a few jokes. You can try to lighten things up a little bit. Maybe they're going to kick back a little bit and talk to you about where you're from and you know, socialize a little bit. If they're willing to do that, do it. But if you can't, you might have some issues. Like Stefan says, maybe you need to do a little bit of likability time with the gatekeeper to get through to the decision maker, right? Okay. Anyone have any other feedback that I can address on that before we step into the meeting 2 consulting session? So that was the hard work, right? That's the hard work. And that went over 5 minutes, but that was the hard work. Sandra says, I don't think you got time for the likability on the first one. It's difficult, but it depends. Some people will open that gateway for you to establish a likability factor, and like in this one, they won't. He didn't open up at all. He was closed the entire time. I'm busy. What the hell do you want? I'm busy. What the hell do you want? Oh, where are you from? Click, right? David says, are these problems he cares about or not? Obviously, he spent money on his digital marketing. Does he want it working right? Exactly. Okay. All right. We're moving on to the second meeting. What is the second meeting? We are moving on to the second call. Now, this is a battle. This is a bit of a battle. You got to move fast, and you got to make sure that you do not lose them. The typical client you're going to be talking to is not technical. They're not technical, right? Jimmy's saying, you were pushing on the 30 minutes. Why didn't you go with 20 minutes? Well, what I told him was if he didn't like the consulting, then hang up. But realistically, what kind of a consulting session less than 30 minutes, right? So I want a little bit of time on the table. If he needs to go early, that's fine. Rob has a great comment. Truth is, whether we like it or not, the reason why YP and ReachLocal steal your clients is that they have cold calling machines doing what you just did. Yeah, absolutely. The most successful people in the United States that are big marketing firms have call center teams. Look them up. Look at the complaints. Look at what people are saying that they're saying to them on their phone. They're hard closers. Those are the most successful companies that are out there. Now, I'm not telling you to be dishonest. I'm not telling you to be mean. But I am telling you that if you want to be in sales, you got to push a little bit. All right. Here we go. Second phone call. So the second phone call, right cross, make them feel it, show them what you're made of. This is where you prove yourself, right? This is where you get that trust factor. You didn't get the trust factor on the first phone call. He wants to know what's wrong with his website, right? You only got a little bit of time to get through that. So it's going to be really important that you work that out. All right. So here we go. We are a couple days later. And by the way, what I have done to prepare for this ahead of time is I looked up what reviews and listings he had online. I checked out his Yelp. Looks good. Company name matches, address matches, that's okay. Alder Family Dentistry on Foursquare has it, couple of check-ins even, that's good. He's on Google Plus as well, which I don't know why it went to this view. I'll go to list all results instead of that. So he is on Google Plus as well that I can click into, right? So that's good. And then I also opened up his Bing Maps. I noticed that he was on Bing, so that's good. Now, what I did, because this was the second consulting session to prep for it, I went in and did a proposal request in the system through services, and I asked for my keyword research to be done, right? I also, and I used the public link to be able to screen share with him on the keyword research as a tool. Now, I also went in and I went into the competition analysis arena, which is free for you. Again, you put it through a proposal request and they'll run this for you. So I can show him where his competitors are ranking compared to where he's ranking. And then if you want to give an SEO consulting session, you need some tools, right? Anyone want to give it some shout outs on some tools that they use for consulting? There's like freeseotools.org, something like that. There's a lot of free SEO tools. Anyone? Anyone to give a shout out on some free SEO tools? Stuff that will run like 404 errors and I'm talking free tools here. Yeah, we give the online presence report, which does some things. I'm actually going to be bypassing that one on this one. Mike says SEO Quake, which is a great one. SEMrush evidently has a free version. There's some tools. Now, what I'm previewing you for here are tools that no one's seen, and this is actually going to be coming out early next month for people to be able to use. It's going to be part of a pro membership though. But this tool suite, which I'm going to be beta running for you, is going to allow you to do a consulting session. You don't have to use this tool suite. You could use something else. There's free tools to do everything that you're going to be seeing in here. It's just that you got to find them and they're in different areas. But what you want to understand is that whenever you pull together a consulting session, what can you go through and show them on technologies aside from just rankings to establish trust through intelligence? So I pulled together these tools in a toolbox for you, and I'm going to be going over these tools with the client to show him different things in a nice manner. And there's actually 13 different tools. They're not too in-depth, but it's going to let me have him see my screen, what's going on, and what he needs to be paying attention to on a consulting session, right? Okay, everyone? All right, so here we go. Round number 2. Calling Dr. Alder on his personal cell. No, not. He's got to be sitting in front of a desk for screen sharing, so I guess I'm calling him in the office. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello, Dr. Alder speaking.
Hello, Dr. Alder. It's Paul with Advanced Marketing. I'm happy you were able to take the phone call with me.
Paul, hi. Yeah, been thinking about our previous conversation, and I checked the pages and the problems that you mentioned a few days ago, and yeah, I'm a little bit worried. So one of the reasons I actually took this call, which I was going to cancel incidentally because I just wanted to get rid of you, sorry about that, a few days ago, is because what you told me is quite worrying, and I do want to hear how you're going to suggest that I fix it. So thanks for that, and your 15 minutes start now.
Wow, okay. Well, I put my 4 or 5 hours in like I promised you that I would, and so I guess we'll get right down to business, huh? Okay, well, since I'm on a time frame here with you, I'll dive right into it, and hopefully we can chit-chat a little bit more later on. Let me just dive into real quick. I use my software that I have built by my company here to do some research for you to get you to have a bird's eye view on where you're ranking right now versus your competition. Again, this doesn't point out problems, but I wanted to point out that I noticed that Cascade Dental, New Day Dental, and Wendell Dental were very close to you. Are you familiar with those competitors? Because on a map, they're like right in your neighborhood.
How did you get this data on my competitors?
Well, it's actually public information. So since it's public information, this is information that I can get. Let me show you how these work, since these guys are right down the street from you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you their top rankings compared to yours. So in Google, the way that this report works is there's an average of 10 10 results on each page of Google, okay? So on this report, if it says 1 through 10, then you're on the first page of Google. If it says 20 through 30, then you're on the second page of Google, and so on and so forth. So pretty much if it says anywhere past 30, you're not on the radar. Does that make sense? So you want to be 30 or less, and you want to be on the top 10 to be on the first page. So Cascade Dental, if we take a look at these keywords, we're talking Vancouver periodontist, dentist, dental terms, dentist overview, sedation dentistry, family dentistry, cosmetic dentist. You see they're ranking and they're dominating. Now right now the majority of the people that are looking for you online. So when it comes down to them being in the same neighborhood, that means they're going to get these clients that are looking, and you won't, because you see your rankings are actually, for the most part, beyond page 10 of Google, and most people never go beyond page 3. So because of where you're positioned at online, all of this guy, for everyone that's typing in these keywords, he'll be taking that traffic, or if I show you the top rankings of his competitors, you see how New Day Dental has 1 through 4 rankings versus yours, which are not on the radar. And I can show you the same for Wendell Dental. So this is just a quick preview tool to show you where you're ranking versus your competition. And the main thing I want you to keep in mind is when people are searching, they go to who they can find. It doesn't matter if you're better than they are. If they can't find you, they're not going to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm just looking at this data now. So these other guys are ranking and I'm not. I feel like I need a blast of laughing gas right at the moment, Paul, so I hope you can make me happy.
Well, what we'll do is we'll get through the consulting session, and then later on we can talk about things that can be done to fix this, right? But this is the main thing I want to portray to you. It's very difficult to have an interface that shows you easily where you're ranking versus your competition. And pretty much right now with online traffic, you're getting spanked, and your competition's taking all the traffic, and they're getting new clients signing up weekly because of the amount of traffic that's coming through. And I know that because I'm going to switch interfaces here, as you can see on your screen sharing. These are the keywords, and the only thing I want you to pay attention to right now on these keywords is the column that I have my cursor on, which is the monthly searches. For right now, that's all I want you to pay attention to. And as you see for Dentist Vancouver, there's 880 searches per month. Dentist Vancouver, Washington, 390. So there's all this search volume that's here per each keyword per month in Google. So if you're not getting that traffic, your competitors are. And so here's the premise of what we know right now. There's a lot of traffic out there. It's documented traffic directly from Google, and I can show you that your competitors are ranking very high, and I know we both know no one goes past page 3. So just to set the premise at the beginning of the consulting session, I just want you to see there's a lot of traffic out there. Your competitors are getting all the new clients online, and you're not.
Okay, carry on. You've got me interested.
Okay, so maybe we'll be able to break that 15-minute mark, huh? Because that is some pretty important stuff. All right, so real quick, let's take a look at your website. So we go to our, by the way, nice website. I like the look of it, and we can talk about improvements later. But when I go to our office, as an example, I go to our doctors, people are going to dive into here and they want to see you. So that's a 404 not found, right? If I go to cosmetic services and I go to Zoom teeth whitening, it's also not found. Do you still provide Zoom teeth whitening services?
Yeah, of course.
So that of course, that's going to be important to get fixed, right? Those are some of the main things. On the site, I ran a duplicate content check as well that I can pull up for you. It would take some time to get through, so I don't think that we necessarily want to get through it. But I did notice that, for instance, the content on your Crowns page is duplicate content. So I don't know who supplied the content to your site, but you have quite a bit of duplicate content throughout about 5 top pages on your site, and I can email you over the details on that. But that's also a problem because your content's not unique to your site. And that's going to be an issue whenever Google tries to see, are you an authority and should I display you or not? So whoever put the content on your site, if you paid to have it written, they copied and pasted it from other sites. I'm unfortunate to tell you that, and I can show you proof of that, and I'd send it over, but I'd prefer not to go through the whole report right now.
Okay, well, I did have somebody a couple of years ago who called me like you did, and it did some work for me, and it looks like they made some errors, and it looks like that could possibly be costing me. What I need to know is how quickly this can get fixed and how much it's going to cost me.
Okay, well, let me get through the consulting session to take you through the reporting and the consulting that I promised you, and then we'll get around to what would it take to fix it, because then we'd start talking about me and my services, right? So we're going to do you first. So whenever I told you I was going to put 4 or 5 hours prep work into your consulting session, what I did is I went into my technologies, and I ran 13 different reports that I'm going to skim through with you. And you're going to find a lot of this really interesting, and if at any point in time on some of these you do not find it interesting, just hit next and tell me to move on, okay? So one of the things that I want to point out is that whenever it comes to clients or possible leads coming to your site, in 2014, the majority of Internet users are going to be on mobile devices and not on desktop and laptop devices, which means that if your site doesn't respond, it does not show up well on a mobile device, that your users are going to bounce off your site, right? So if I come into here, if you want to just tell me on your screen, just tell me which device you want me to click on, and I'll show you what your site looks like on a screen size of that site.
Okay, well, I've got a HTC One.
There you go. Nice phone, huh? Now, actually, HTCs are doing better with their stocks now. They were going down for quite some time, but they're coming back up. Okay, so here's your site on an HTC One. So you do have issues with your site loading because it doesn't have the images that you need in here. Looks like you do have a mobile version, but it doesn't have images that are on here. And if I were able to show you some of your competitors that have really nice mobile sites to get through, it helps them out a lot. As you see, whenever you come onto this in a mobile site, there's a patient login in a home, but there's no way for me to read about you or view services or dig down into it unless I scrolled clear down to here. So if I was in a hurry and I was just wanting to browse through, I might land on this and bounce. So it is an issue that you don't have a mobile responsive website.
Hold on a minute, Paul. Just to clarify, that I'm looking at now, that's my website. That's my website, and that's what it looks like on a HTC One. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, it's actually what it looks like at the screen width of it. But yes, this is what it would look like in a device of this width. So that's an issue. Now, it's not keeping you from ranking better and getting more traffic, but it's a conversion issue, because if people don't land on your site and if they can't find what they want quickly, they're going to bounce. So that is an issue of not having it display properly. If the website was what we call mobile responsive, it would display well on all mobile devices. They'd be able to see all the navigation they need to get into, and that way when you have traffic coming to your site, since mobile is going to be the most important resolution to be displaying in 2014, it's kind of a no-brainer to say, hey, well, my site has to show up good on a mobile device. So this is a conversion issue, and this is one of the reasons why it's good that you took the time to talk to me, because regardless, it's a no-brainer. You have to fix this at some point in time. You'll have to. It's like just saying that your site doesn't show up properly on a desktop. You'd have to fix that, right? But people have been neglecting how it looks on a mobile device for a long time. But
okay, so how quickly can I get that fixed, and how much is it going to cost me?
Well, let's get through the rest of the reports, and then we'll talk about priorities on the marketing, and then we'll dive into that. Okay? I got 15 minutes as per you on the consulting session, so I need to move. So we got two things so far. We've got duplicate content on the site. We've got 404 errors that are really important to get fixed, and we need a mobile responsive version of the site so you don't have the bounces. Okay. Now let me take you to another tool. We're going to check out the malware safety. Now this is just a quick check just so that you want, because you don't have a marketing company, you don't have a webmaster on your site, but I just went ahead and checked your site for malware, and just for your own ease of knowledge, I checked your site for malware and safety concerns through Google, Norton, Site Advisor, McAfee, Yandex, and your site's completely clean. No viruses, no malware, no nothing. So you don't need to understand all of that. Just know that it's like I did a check on your car engine, and I said, hey, everything's good. So everyone needs a checkup, even on their teeth from time to time, right? So your site's good there. And then I went through, and this is the broken link finder tool that I ran, that we have, that's our technology. And I went through, and these are the broken links, okay? And I'll send these through to you. I'm actually going to send you a public link to all these reports. So your Our Policies page will not load. Your About Us, About Our Doctors page, which is one of your most important pages on a site, especially whenever it comes to being a dental firm, is broken. Your Zoom teeth whitening, no one can find that on your site right now. And then these other two, you have a button that allows people to click on it to send an email to you directly. It's a click button to send mail, and that's broken as well, which isn't good. That means when people are trying to get a hold of you, wherever that link is, it's not working, so they can't mail you when they click it. And then this is just a JavaScript broken link. You don't need to worry about that for now. It's actually a login broken link. So looks like your login portal's broken.
You're telling me there's five pages that are broken. There's 5 links that are broken on my site right now.
That's correct. So yeah, that would be a pretty big priority. Now, since we're running short on time, I got a Bing Site Audit report, which is a larger report that has a more technical analysis. But typically I would go over this, but I'm not sure if you're going to have the time to get through this with me. So I did go through the site audit report, and it analyzes a lot of different factors on your site. There's things that are called meta tags, meta descriptions that have a red flag on them, but I'll let you get through this report as well on your own. Things that have a red symbol on them, you can click down and read about it. But for the big 911 stuff that's on here, I didn't find too much. I noticed that you're not tracking your site in Google Analytics, so you don't know what traffic's coming through unless you're using a different tracking device, right? Do you have a way that you track your traffic? I mean, do you know how many people come to your site and how many click on your Contact Us form? Is there anyone in your company that knows what traffic is coming to your website?
No, we just We just gauge it by how many phone calls and how many emails we get.
Okay. Well, you're probably going to want to become better friends with me real soon because you've got to know what traffic's coming to your site. That's really important. So other than that, I mean, things look okay. The load time on your site and how long it takes people to load up a page is good. There's some minor issues that are common with other sites. I'll send you this link to check out. But to move on, what I wanted to show you is a spider view. So this is your home page, for example. And what I did is I pulled out all the words on your home page, and including the links, and I highlighted the word dentist just to give you a visual. This is how Google looks at your site. So when we go through and optimize, it's kind of similar to this. We need to go through the pages and we need to look at it on just the raw text and see what kind of keywords are in there at what different densities. This is how Google views it. And so that's the visual view on it. But what Google does when they view this is they take it and they calculate it down further, which takes me to my next tool. Now this is a keyword density analyzer. So I can tell you on your home page, there's 341 words, right? Now 56 out of the 341 words are links to somewhere. Now out of the remaining words that are not links, so you have 25 remaining words, and 123 of those are stop words. Stop words means things that are words that are like and, or, but, however, words that aren't really unique to a sentence that are considered unique words. So Google even calculates how unique your content is. So if you have a lot of fluff content that doesn't talk about much detail, you're going to have an issue. And then we go through and analyze that by the words that are not linked, your top 2-word phrases, which are our office, Hazeldale, our patients, our dental. So we'd have to go through and restructure your content, or you would need to make sure that the top word phrases should be about what you're about, right? Which is what? Well, definitely dentist should be up there in the top. And if it's not, you have to wonder why you're saying office more than dentist or patients more. It's okay, but preferably like Hazeldale, you're not, that's your street, right? But it should be saying Vancouver mainly because people aren't searching for Hazeldale dentist. So that's just a rundown on your home page to give you an idea that when you have a word count breakdown like this, if what the page is about isn't displaying by the top quantities, you want to know. So I don't want to overload you on this, and it's just a run through of how Google structures content. That's a little bit more difficult to understand, okay?
Yeah, okay. So far, this is what I would say to you, right? Because I'm a bit strapped for time as well. You've obviously done your research. This is what sticks out so far for me. I don't like the fact that some of my pages are broken, and I don't like the fact that my site doesn't fit on my HTC or anybody else's mobile. So that's my interest. What can you do for me?
Well, so we keep things on track here. In regards to the reports that I just went over, did you have any questions about those specifically? Because then we can start talking about what I can do for you, which is kind of the other side of the table. But I want to make sure that you get your consulting from me on issues on your site because we're getting cut short here.
I like the work that you've done on my competitors. I don't like the fact that they're ranking and I'm not, and I would like to know how I can compete with them better. Yeah, you made that clear. Yes, that's annoyed me. So there's 3 factors that stand out. The broken bits, the fact that my website doesn't fit on my phone, and the fact that my competitors are, you know, basically seem to be stealing all my clients. So they're the things that stick out in my mind so far in what you've told me.
Okay, well, I'm going to freeze frame there. Rob's saying, finish him! What is that? Is that the line on, what is it? Mortal Kombat, finish him? There you go, Rob. You're playing Mortal Kombat while you're listening, aren't you? The way that it was supposed to be structured is that the dentist runs out of time and he needs to get with the patient, right? At this point in time, you know, we've been on the line with him about 30 minutes and he's now overloaded, and this is what's going to be typical. You take him through enough reports and what? You built trust through intelligence, right? That's what will end up happening with a lot of this stuff. And it doesn't mean, typically you're going to be able to bypass questions like, how do I trust you? Where's your referrals? Where's your whatever else? I need you to build trust with me. We built trust through intelligence. They're ready to just shut you up and get the deal down on the table and figure out what you can do, right? So Rob's saying, so you close him for the actual sales call on this call. We could. You could. Yeah, and this is one of the paths on where the call can go right now. If they've got the time and they're able to stay on it and they're hot and they're ready to go and you're able to close them right now, then why not? Close them, right? But if they're not ready to go right now, then you probably aren't going to be able to close them. So, you know, it's the question. If you're ready to close them and they're ready to close down, that's fine. But there's a larger conversation to be had. You need to talk to them about their budget. You need to consult them and advise them on their budget. You need to talk to them about someone. You need to talk to them about what services would be best for them. And the question is it going to run too long on this call, or would it be better to prep for it on the next call? And what it's going to come down to is how much time do you have left on the phone? Because here's the deal. If you don't have much time left on the phone right now to talk to them about their budget, to consult with them, and to get into the bread and butter on it, what's going to happen? What's he trying to do right now? He's going to try to rush me into telling him how much is this going to cost. He wants to hang up the phone and go think about it. Does that make sense to everyone? He's interested. He wants you to know he's interested. He wants to know how much is this going to cost. He's going to hang up the phone, and are you going to be able to get him back or not? Right? So this is the hard decision to make right now. Are you going to take it on to the next meeting, or are you going to close them on this meeting right here, right now? Cross your fingers and hope that you get it through. If they're that personality type that they need to be closed right now, then fine. If it takes another meeting, then it typically is going to take another meeting. Can I get some shout-outs on how many people would try? Let's say that how much time is left on that. This guy's ready to hop off the phone anytime now. He's got patience. He's busy. I'd say I've got max 5 to 10 minutes with him on the phone. Are you going to close him right now? You got 5, 10 minutes left on the phone. How many people say set another meeting versus close him right now? Natalie says he's overloaded and needs to digest. Give him a reason to call back. Most people are saying call him back. Some people are saying close now. You know what I say right now? It depends on your personality, and it depends on the personality of the guy on the other end of the line. I'm going to close him on the next meeting. Okay? So we're going to unfreeze frame, and we'll go back into role play. Well, Dr. Alder, what I would like to do is, because you said we've got, I know we have like 1 or 2 or 3 minutes left, or as soon as you're ready to jump off that phone. What I did is I put my 4 or 5 hours into the research to give you the consulting session that I promised you. Now, since you're interested, and I'm really glad that you're interested, because the things that are going on is the reason why I sought you out and got you the meeting with me, was because I know there's really big issues there. I know you run a good practice, and I know that you need help on it. What I'd like to do now is go back and put together a game plan for you on what I recommend with your marketing based on what we've went over, and schedule a follow-up meeting as soon as we can to go over what I can do for you. And maybe I can get some input from you, you know, on your goals for my preparation and work on this. Clearly, the objective, you want more clients, right? And so I'm going to be putting together something that's a cross between a social media program and an SEO program to help to get you more traffic. But what I would like to brief on real quick would be, are you interested in rebuilding your website? Because your website doesn't have to be rebuilt to work on your online presence to get more clients. But like I said, it is a bounce factor. Are you interested in rebuilding that site?
You've said some things that have scared me. I need to have a think, and I need to digest what you've said. So I would appreciate an email with the main points of what you've said today, with some sort of costings concerning how much that would cost. And if you can give me a few examples of work that you've done for other guys on that email as well, then that would be very interesting, Paul.
Okay, what I would like to do is set up another phone meeting with you to go over things, because we'll get through it a lot faster, and you're going to have more questions and answers just based on paperwork that I would send over. Trust me, you would. So it's better to schedule a phone meeting. And in terms of references and case studies or whatnot, it's kind of like if a dental client walked into your front office and said, hey, you know what, I need some dental work done. She said, oh, sure, this is how much it costs to get a crown done. And then that person says, okay, yeah, but I want to talk to some of your patients. I want to see how that crown went. I want to see before and after pictures. I don't trust you. And, you know, we don't bother our other clients with references or testimonials on things, just like you don't. So that's not really something that we get into just because it's such a hassle. And by the time you're going to track them down to get a reference, it would take longer than it's going to take for me to consult you. So I prefer not to get into that, but I guarantee you I can give you the consulting. I can show you exactly what's going to be done. It's going to make sense, and I can put together a plan for you. But if you're available in, say, even tomorrow or the next day to hop on the phone, give me about 30 minutes then to go over everything we can do for you, what it would cost. I need to consult you on what you're willing to put into it from a budget standpoint. I would love to set up another meeting so you can get back to your day and we can go over this and get you taken care of.
I need to read the email. I can't see you in the next few days because I'm busy, and I need some time to go over the issues in the email. I'll take on board what you've said, but I'd also like in the email some sort of costing, so I know how much it would cost me if I agreed to go ahead in any of those areas. The main areas of concern for me are the broken bits on my website, and yeah, I want my site to pop up on mobile apps, obviously, because I want to start winning back some of those clients that it looks like my competitors are getting, but it's going to all come down to cost. So I need some sort of, you know, some sort of yardstick. So I need some indication on the email about that.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send over the reports that we went over. I'll send them over through email. That I'm going to work on the proposal for you on the different options. But what I really need to do is I need to be on the phone to consult you through what the different options are and putting them together. But I need some time myself to digest all the issues we went through, and then I want to propose them to you in person. It's the same thing as if you had a dental client. They're going to come in. There's different things that are going to be wrong. You're going to go over it with them in person, and that's how I do business. So it's much better to do things by phone calls because we're going to get through a lot more ground, and email's going to string things out. So I'll send you these reports, but if you're okay with it, you said you're busy the next 2-3 days. What about Tuesday next week, same time, and we can go ahead and set the meeting, and then if you need to reschedule it because you can't make it, then we can reschedule it. But like I promised you the first time, I wouldn't waste your time in the consulting session, and in the next meeting, I'll be prepared. I'll put my time into it. You'll be pleased whenever you hop on the phone.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll get my secretary to go through my calendar, and you can pick a date with her when I'm available.
Okay, wonderful. Hey, Dr. Elder, I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy man. I'll just call back in and I'll talk to your receptionist. I'll go ahead and get that meeting set up.
Okay, Paul. Look forward to that.
All right, have a great day. Okay, so break and role play there. Now, the reason why people are speaking up and say, hey, why didn't you do it more budget probing? Why didn't you do more probing on this, more probing on that? I could have gotten into the budget consulting on it, but whenever it comes to getting into the entire arena, which is you're entering into arena, what can I do for you? How much does it cost? How much are you willing to spend? And for me, if I've got enough time to lock them down and close them, that's when I really want to start talking about budget and what I can do for them, right? Now, hopefully you know the services well enough to be able to offer it to them on the fly. If not, maybe you want to get the budget out of them ahead of time. Given my knowledge and what I know, I prefer to get into a meeting with them and go from talking to them about budget to how much it's going to cost, right? That's quite a meeting, and it can get a little bit tense in there at the same time. It really can, because the majority of people, whenever you step in, if you ask them what's their budget, well, that's the first problem that you're making whenever you ask someone what's their budget. You might as well be asking them a different question. If you're going to ask someone what's your budget, you might as well rephrase it and say, what's the minimum amount of money that you want to pay me and expect really good results? You want to come in as an advisor and advise them, right, on what kind of services they need, but what budget should they be going with, right? Natalie says it is important to do the second meeting in person rather than on the phone. Well, it just depends. Yeah, if you can do things in person, you absolutely want to do them in person, but if you can't, you want to do them over the phone. Yeah, if you can meet them in person, always meet them in person. Real quick, though, before I move on to that, yeah, I was going to go over the MAPS rank analyzer here. I didn't need to because he was like, okay, I've got it. I got it. You're smart. You know your stuff. I see you're reporting. You've got the technologies. I get it. I get it. I get it. What happened there whenever he said that? He didn't want to see the rest of the reports, and this will happen to you. He said check mark. He said check mark on trust in intelligence. He put a check mark on it. That's what happened there whenever he said, all right, let's move on. Okay? Yeah. All right, so this was the Google Maps Rank Analyzer, a cool tool. You can put in the keywords and find out where they rank in Google Maps. And then there's another tool we didn't check, which is the Local Listings Checker. And this checks their primary listings, which is really nice. So these tools will be made available beginning of March in the ProMember tool suite that we'll be releasing. And it's really cool because it has a public link just for that client. And it's going to let you do really high-level consulting sessions all in one interface. Okay? Pam says, obviously he wasn't just over the phone. He would have to be at a computer to do screen sharing. Yeah, that's the part of the role play we missed. Yes, he would have been given a link to do screen sharing. You can do screen sharing on Skype and show your face if they have Skype. If you want to do it really easy, you can also do join.me. Okay? So on the third meeting, let me get this up here. On the third meeting, role play fight, third call. Your killer shot, finish him. Third call, come back with a proposal, close the sale. So on the third call, yeah, I'd be coming back with a proposal to close the sale. Now, at this point in time, what are you going to want to be going after? What are you going to be going over, right? You're going to have open what when you're going over it? You're going to have open, if you need to, you would have open your SEO value report, right? So if I open that up, I would have the, let me pull this up here. Oh no, we're running a little late on this, so I'll try to get through this. You would go to your, not video library, but document library, and you would download your sales collateral for SEO, right, everyone? You're going to download your sales collateral for SEO. I'm also going to pitch him on a Google Social Dominator, so I'm going to pitch him on both of those. I'm going to pitch him on a 15-keyword advanced SEO. For the sake of time here, I'm going to stay away from all of, well, should we go over the line item details? Let me get into sales collateral here. I would download and open up the sales collateral for SEO as well as for web design, and I would also for the social media, and I would have emailed those, and if you bought the marketing bundle, I would have also already sent him the videos and asked him to watch those videos. And then I would have open up the SEO sales collateral and the web design sales collateral and the social media sales collateral, and I would go over the section where it talks on a higher level talking point on the different keywords on it, right? So on the close, for the sake of the timing on this one, since we're running over, I'm not going to get into the line item details at all or too much on the overview. But what I will do is just download one to show you how you want to be showing this on the screen here. And then what I'm going to do whenever I get back on the phone, I'm going to talk to him about budget and advising him on budget and budget spending. And this is going to be a really important portion that a lot of people miss on it. So let me pull this up here. So I got the SEO sales collateral up, and one of the things that I would want to get through, right, because you don't need to spend so much time on it if you don't have to, is a summary of what we do. And I would go through a summary of what we do on everything. So the summary is really, really good on the sales collateral, right? Now, on the meeting as well, things to look out for. You need to talk to them about budget. You need to figure out how much things would cost, how much you're going to charge them. And then what you want to be able to do is get through the general summary on things so he knows what he's buying. But you got to be careful not to get too in detail about the technical components of each one. Okay, I'm going to be trying to sell him a mobile responsive site. He has a very small site. I'm going to try to throw it to him at $3,000. And I'm going to try to throw him an SEO campaign and a Google Social Dominator at, what was the rate on that we're going to push for on that? Bare minimum of, I suppose, roughly, let's see here. Probably about $1,500 to $2,000 ongoing monthly, right? Depends on what we're going to talk about him with his budget. So what I want to do is whenever I talk to him about this, if I'm not going to go into keyword specifics, I don't have to. If I'm going to target about 3 keywords per category, I want to target family dentistry. He's pretty heavy on teeth whitening. The nice thing about teeth whitening clients is that they come in, it's a lower budget service, but they'll also come back to you when they need a crown or a root canal or something like that, right? And then I want to also, let's just for the sakes of it, optimize for orthodontist, right? So I could target 3 keywords on each. I could do like a 9 keyword campaign, and for the budget I could also throw in there like a Google Social Dominator. So that's what I'm going to be pitching to him. So on the contract, on the screen sharing, I wouldn't be screen sharing a contract. That's something that you'd be probably sending over to him, but you would screen share the summary of the details of what it's about to go through it, and then you'd have your contract ready to be able to send over quickly and to say when the campaign's going to start, what to expect, and things like that. Okay? So let's get through this 3rd phone call so we can wrap this thing up. So we're on phone call number 3, closing the sale. All right, Dr. Alder, calling you now. Ring, ring, ring.
Dr. Alder, your pain is our gain. How can I help you?
Hello, Dr. Alder. Thanks for hopping on the phone. It's been a while, but I'm excited to be able to talk to you again. I put together a nice little service set on what I want to talk to you about. So before we get started into that, how was your week going? I saw that the Seattle football team did pretty good there. You guys doing a big party and celebrating that, or are you not much of a football guy?
Yeah, I love the football. I took my son to the game. Had a great time. Are you into the football as well?
Oh, absolutely. My son plays football. He's in 6th grade, and I go to all the games. Of course, hopefully one day he'll play for Seattle football team. Who knows? But yeah, you guys definitely record-breaking Super Bowl on that one. You guys got to be excited.
Yeah, it was great. I was going to ask you about that, actually. I looked at some of the websites, and a lot of them had pictures of their own families on there. What is that a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea to put pictures of your family on your website. I noticed on your website you advertise that you're a family dentistry, but you also don't have much pictures of your family on there. That's definitely, from a branding standpoint, absolutely. If we're going to redesign the site for you, that's definitely something that I'd be talking to you about on, even a slogan that you could use would be from our family to your family. Family dentistry is really something that you want to push, because whether people have a family or not, they like the idea of a family dentistry. People that have families, of course, you get 1 client. If their family has 5 people in it, you just picked up 5. So that's definitely something we want to pay attention to from a branding standpoint.
So if we can cut to the chase here a bit, Paul. I've looked at the email. I know what it is that I'm interested in, so I need now to address the underlying issue, which is how much is it going to cost me if I indicate what I'm interested in. Let's find out quickly if it's worth, pursuing this conversation or not. So what I'm interested in is the mobile site bit, fighting back the competition, which you showed me on that report, and the broken stuff, which I need to get fixed ASAP.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to step back and address, is your marketing budget. Because typically what companies do is they take, as you probably know, yeah, you own your practice, but you're also a businessman. But typically what companies do is they take around 15% of their profit margin and they put it back into marketing. And a lot of the problem with figuring out, one of the difficult things to figure out is what you're going to invest your marketing money in. But one of the biggest problems that I run into with clients is if I just come to them and ask them what your budget is, they're not thinking in terms of what typical businesses do, which is to take a % profit margin that they have and stick that into marketing. Most dentists that I'm aware of are going to be taking anywhere between 10 and 20% and putting it into marketing. The ones that are hitting it harder are taking 20%. So really, I think a lot of it, what it comes down to is what I can do for you is going to be based on, well, what are you willing to do from a margin standpoint to put back into your marketing, to be able to invest in your marketing. As your company grows, you want to continue to invest more and more and more into marketing. If your profit margins are going to soar, take that. If you're going to be at 15%, keep putting it back into marketing, because, you know, I'd prefer to, you know, it's kind of odd to be the service fulfillment person and the advisor at the same time, but if we were both able to bring in a third-party business advisor and set them down, they'd say, yeah, well, 15% is what you need to do, and as you get bigger, you need to put more in. So where are you at in terms of how you're budgeting out your investment back into marketing with your company?
Well, it depends how much I'm going to get out of it, but, you know, a ballpark figure, I'd be comfortable with 1,500 a month, something like that, as long as I got a return on it.
Yeah, that sounds about ballpark. Again, I don't know your finances, and you don't have to disclose them to me. I'd be recommending around 15%, bare minimum 10% that's on it. So maybe you'd have a little bit of movement there. But, you know, my best advice is, you know, to always take that budget and put it into whatever. Yes, ideally, whatever you're going to put into it is going to work. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to bring you lots of traffic. But companies always have to be able to take a certain amount of their profit and just, you got to invest it into that marketing to make sure that you're always making that effort to bring that new clients back in through the front door. So, okay. Now, on that, what I'm going to be recommending is the website would be a one-time service. So that's kind of a one-off, so it's not a monthly marketing fee like online marketing for the SEO to get your overall web presence greater inside of Google. That's a monthly service. I'm also going to be recommending social media services, which will help your you know, Google, Bing, Yahoo rankings as well, but it's a different type of optimization. It's going to optimize the social side, you know, your Google Plus and your YouTube even, and something called Picasa and an offsite blog. But on sticking to the website side for now, I think we're both in agreement that the website really does need to be redone to be mobile responsive, but at the same time, you know, we want to increase the attractiveness of it, and we want to put more of your brand into it, right? So less fake photos bought online somewhere, better content, better imagery on it, and we definitely want to put the family dentistry branding into it, because as your dental name is, Alder Family Dentistry, we need to put that family brand into it, and that's what's missing. So I'm going to be recommending, yeah, the redesign of your site, which would be about $3,000, but it's a one-time cost.
Okay, and for that redesign, it will appear on my HTC and anybody else's mobile?
Right. It would be built to show up, display the right way on all mobile devices and all desktops and all laptops and through all the primary browsers as well. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work to get it there, but definitely would be able to get the site redesigned, get the right brand image put on it, and get it out the door so that whenever we're marketing to it and people land on it that are mobile users, we don't get them bouncing, right? I mean, that's...
Okay. And what about the broken pages? You know, I'm hoping that that's all going to be sorted out within the 3K.
Now, on the whenever we rebuild the site, that will take care of the broken pages, right? So we would be able to rebuild that site and take care of those broken pages. For right now, if you want, I could go in and I could take care of those broken pages for you. That won't take much. So you have no one that works on your site? You have no webmaster whatsoever?
No, I haven't used anybody for about a year and a half.
All right, well, I tell you what, if we do make this deal, then in regards to the broken pages, I'll get in there right away and get those fixed for you, okay? Now, whenever we rebuild the site, of course, we're going to be rebuilding it and getting those pages up again, so you're not going to have to worry about broken links on a new site, right? And then what I wanted to go over with you was the online marketing portion of it. So whenever you saw that competitor report and you saw that all your competitors are getting your clients, right, that's what we want to put a lot of the effort towards, because you're not getting those clients and they are. And you at least want to be up there in that mix to be able to compete with them, at bare minimum. So in regards to that, we do quite a bit. and I'm not sure how much on the details you want me to go through, but on a monthly basis, in short, what we're doing, well, on the setup, on what we call the SEO, the search engine optimization, we're going to go through your site and we're going to make sure that your site's structured the right way. We're going to make sure that your content is in alignment with what words you're wanting to target, like orthodontist, teeth whitening, family dentistry terms. And then we're also going to make sure that your primary directories are in alignment, because if I go in and I Google your site, your company name, not all of your directories show up on the first page, so there's got to be some misalignment issues. Maybe it's with the company name. And then what we're going to be doing on an ongoing monthly basis is we would be publishing content about your brand and distributing it through your social media channels, your social sharing channels we'll set up, and we'll even be publishing content that I'll be interacting with you on, whether you have a promotion going on or press release to send out or relevant company update, or if you just want us to write general industry news to put out there and publish. So pretty much the way that we work is we push your brand through certain connectivities on your own social media profiles and external social sharing accounts, and through publishing this content on a monthly basis, it gives you a larger presence online, and the credibility of your site is raised in the eyes of Google, and it's all fresh content, ongoing monthly. And that's really what helps to push your brand presence up, which is why we want to really work on the branding imagery on your site, because that's where people are coming to. But in a nutshell, that's what we'll be doing. And as part of the contract, what I can send over is a statement of work that would be done each month. But I'm not sure how much detail you want me to go into that on the SEO side. The budget on the SEO side, I'm going to be recommending to be putting that at $1,000 a month. And if you want to look at that and say, okay, well, what's one client worth to you? And probably what one client is worth is they come in, if you take a 3-year snapshot on getting a new client, it will probably only take you one client a month to make that really worth your while, right? One client's got to be worth more than $1,000 to you for sure. Am I correct?
What I really want to know is how much is this going to cost me to get ranked like the competitors were that you showed me, and how quickly can you do it? That's what I need to know now, Paul.
How quickly is difficult? That's a really good question. Right now, from looking at your site, things look good. Whenever we rebuild your site, because you don't have rankings right now, you really don't. You don't have any mentionable rankings at all. So the way that I'm looking at it is I'm looking at a site that doesn't have any rankings. So, and we're going to rebuild your website. So for me, we're starting with your online presence from scratch. These guys you're up against have been doing SEO for years. That's why they're up there. So for me, and it's not about those keywords, it's really whenever you see the tracking that I would provide to you, it's about hundreds of keywords, and it's not about just ranking for just very particular keywords. It's ranking in general for many, many, many keywords, because people type in so many different variations that I would say that to get your site up there to start contending, we're looking at probably 6 months in. It could be a lot faster. I've seen sites really pop up in 3 months. I've seen them take 6 to 9 months to really get up there. But that's just the honest truth. I mean, if I wanted your money right now, I would tell you I'll have you up there in 30 days and put a guarantee on it like other people try to. But that's just not the truth. The work that we're going to be doing is going to be solid. It's going to be straightforward. It's going to be reportable to you, and I would be giving you quarterly check-in meetings. I'll drop you a line on your traffic reports on a monthly basis, but every quarter I'll check in, go over everything that's been done, go over with your progress on a quarterly basis, and really give you some strong insights into where you're going online.
I will not be signing any contract with you until I'm satisfied that something is actually happening for any money that I'm investing. I just want to make that clear.
Well, yeah, that makes sense to me. And before we get into anything regarding contracts or payment terms on it, just the only other thing that I had was that on the social media side on this, I would want to run $1,000 on the SEO side, but on the social media side, what I'm going to be recommending, because Google's the primary target, is to really get things up and running inside of Google. So we have a product called the Google Social Dominator, which are you aware that Google owns Picasa? It's an image sharing site, right? And Google owns Blogger, which is a blog website. and Google owns YouTube, right? And of course, Google owns Google Plus, and so
no idea. Sorry.
Google owns all of these.
That. No idea really.
We can log into them all with one central account. So it's kind of like Google's own ecosystem. So we want to keep that ecosystem specifically in Google up to date, and it's what we call a social media service. And I want to be able to put on a budget of at least about $750 a month into that, because that's going to help turbocharge the SEO campaign, and that's going to be really important. In marketing, it's better to put additional padding into it as opposed to doing too less and getting too little as a result. So that's going to be my recommendation, which is $3,000 on the site, $1,000 on the SEO, and $750 on the social media side. And on the site, yeah, if you want to pay 50% up front and 50% when the site's done, I'm okay with that. I really am. On the marketing side of things, typically with my clients, I charge them biannually. But for you, if you're hesitant on moving forward with it, you're not wanting more of a long-term setup just because you want to see how things are going, which I understand, that I'm okay with charging quarterly on it. So, if after 3 months you're not interested in continuing, you would be able to do that. That makes sense. There wouldn't be any contracts at all, but I do charge quarterly at a bare minimum as an interval for the marketing services. Just like with you, you're not probably too interested in just a client that would come in and all they want is teeth whitening and they leave. You got to take them in, you got to process them, and all of that. So we ask for at least 3-month commitments, but there's no contract at all. It's just the payment terms are every 3 months.
Don't know really. Have to have a think about that, Paul. I don't know you, so a lot of this is going to be done on trust. So far, if I've got this right, it's $3K for the website, and then $1,000 for SEO and $750 for improving my brand with the social media stuff you talked about. So I personally would prefer to pay you on a monthly basis for the first 3 months just to see how things go.
Well, that's just not how we work on that. We only do quarterly. So I would love to be able to work on you with that, but we don't go below quarterly on our payments on it. But listen, I tell you what, I showed you the competition analysis report on how badly you're getting beat up by your competitors. And I guarantee you this, at some point in time, each of those competitors that are beating you up online right now sat down with some marketing company and said the same thing. I'm not sure about you. I'm not sure if I should be doing this. And maybe they tried and they failed and they tried and they failed and they tried until they succeeded. But one thing's for sure, you have to have online marketing. You have to go with the provider. You have to move forward. So you can spend your time out there shopping around, and maybe by the time you find what you're looking for, it would take you another year and cost 3 times the amount of money. But I guarantee you no one's going to give you that kind of a consulting session I gave you and be as straightforward as I am being with you. The problem right now is you don't have a mobile responsive site. You got all the bounces. You didn't even know you had broken pages on your site, and you're losing clients every single week that you should be getting that are going to your competitors. I have a sense of urgency about it because you're on most people I come across to try to market for it are not in this bad of a situation. But I think that, currently you're not spending your 15% on your profit margin that you should be into marketing. And, I know that you're saying I need to be able to trust you, but at the same time, you need this fixed. You need someone taking care of it, and you don't have that time to do it. And maybe you got to take a bit of a risk, but I really don't think that it's really too much of a risk. You've got to invest your money back into it if you ever want to compete with those guys. I would say give it a shot. The worst thing that's going to happen is that it doesn't work out, but you need to be investing your money back into marketing. You need to be putting it into it. And if you got to keep doing it until you find what works, okay. But I'm telling you, this is what you need to do, and I can make it happen for you. And we can get started tomorrow even. You just tell me, what do you need from me to make this happen?
Well, you're going to get 3 months, and I want to see results, or I'm out of there. I want to see reports, and I want to see improvements. So I'm going to take a gamble. You're going to get one payment for 3 months, but you better produce or I'm walking.
Hey, you know what? And that's really fair to me. So, you know, what I'm going to do for you is I'll be doing quarterly check-ins. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and show you the work that's going to be done. I'm going to take you through a reporting suite, and I'll show you the amount of keywords that you're going to be getting what I call impressions or clicks off of, and I'm going to be able to show you that progress and that momentum. The technology we use is fantastic. I can tell you when you just show up whether someone clicks on you or not, and it's really going to be able to give you a lot of insight into where your traffic is going. I mean, right now you don't even track your traffic. I'm going to go beyond that. I'm going to track your errors. I'm going to be able to tell you everything that Google wants you to see about your site. And you know what? I would really like to be able to work for you because I know I'm going to be able to help out your marketing effort, and I'd like to be able to go to bat for you to help you out and get you up there with where your competitors are at. But SEO is not an overnight ballgame. You're not going to see clients flying through your door in 3 months. Can I show you progress in 3 months? Absolutely. I can show you progress in 3 months. Yeah.
Okay, well, you've got 3 months, and if it doesn't work, then it's bye-bye.
That's a fair deal to me. So when can we get this thing started? On the website, I'd like to get it started as soon as we can so that I can get into marketing, right, as quickly as possible.
Well, you said you're going to fix the broken pages for me, so I'm taking that as done as part of the deal.
Yeah, and that won't take long.
Right, and I need to get the site on mobile, so, you know, I'll send the payment today, but I'm going to start working straight away.
All right, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go ahead and I'm going to send over the contract. Well, it's more of a statement of work with terms. So I'll go ahead and send that over with the invoice at the same time. And then since today is the 27th of the month, if you can have it paid for the website by the 1st, then I can go ahead and kick off that build. And then what I'll be able to do is, as soon as that site's done, we'll get it right into marketing, right? Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so who will I be in touch with to coordinate the web design build? Because I know you're a busy guy. Do you have anyone else on your staff that I can coordinate with?
Yeah, I've got another guy that will handle that. I have to admit, but obviously, but no, I'm paying you, so I really just want to get it done. I don't want to have too much time to pick up that. I'm trusting you guys to know what you're doing. Take that off my hand. That's what I'm paying you.
All right, that sounds good. Well, let me get the invoice sent out, and then I'm going to be really excited to get this thing set up, and then hopefully we'll be able to coordinate with you a little bit on the branding and getting some imagery in there of, you know, I definitely recommend having some of your family images in and actual office pictures of your facility, and I've got probably a lot of other ideas. I'll be able to brainstorm on that between now and by the time the site is done. Okay?
Okay, Paul. Thanks, you call.
Okay, Dr. Aldo.
Thanks, you call.
Thanks so much. Okay, unfreeze. So, you know, that portion of it typically it will take quite a bit more, but you'd be surprised how very little you have to go through all of the details. Don't get into the line items. If they don't need to see a statement of work on the website, don't show it to them. But whenever you send over the terms, put a statement of work in there that's a summary. If they say, hey, all right, whatever, I'll go with the SEO, I'll go with this, then push it over. I had someone ask me in questions, why did you push so hard for the quarterly payments and not monthly? Because they'll pay it. And if they won't and they're going to back you down to monthly, then tell them that it's going to be a 20% additional. Really. Quarterly payments and in-depth quarterly check-in meetings. Does that make sense? People are saying audio dropped. I think I got it back now. Do I have sound? Put a coming through on my end. Yes, back now? Okay. All right, good. So, look, quarterly check-in meetings that are extensive and quarterly invoicing. What I didn't do is offer them a discount if they went with the quarterly or mark them up a lot if they're going to go with the monthly. Do you want a client for 1 month? Then don't offer it. You know what I mean? Do you want a client for 3 months? Yeah, that's okay. You're going to put time and effort into them. Hey, monthly clients take monthly check-in meetings. Quarterly clients are more stable. They're not busting your chops every month, right? Quarterly. You can charge them less if they're going to go with quarterly if you need to, or charge them a lot more if they want to go with monthly. And my audio is acting up a little bit. I think Mike's saying, so $17.50 monthly or quarterly? No, that's $17.50 monthly. But keep in mind, you need to talk to them about, what percent of their profit that they're willing to put back into it. That's going to be really important. I wouldn't, if they don't want to go back and forth and tell you their finances, then fine. But the only way for you to know if what you're offering to them is unreasonable is to know, well, what profit are you taking home? If they're making $50,000 a month in profit and you're going to go pitch them on $7,000 a month in marketing, that's not crazy. If they're only making $5,000 a month in profit and you're going to go pitch them on $2,000 a month in services, that's not good, right? As far as I'm concerned, if you get any client and you're able to make any profit margin over $500 a month on them on a monthly reoccurring, take it. If you can make $500 on reoccurring monthly off of any client, take it. I know a lot of people coach you and tell you, hey, you need to make $2,000, $3,000 off of a client. That's just not real. If you can make, if I were you, if I even made $300 a month off of a client, if they're not a big hassle to me, I'd close them. If I can make $500 off of a month off of a client, that's ideal for me. Anywhere above that is fantastic. If you can make $1,000 a month off of a client, you're doing really good. But what a lot of people do is they'd sell something like for $17.50 and then pay us like $300 a month for the product, and that's just not real legitimate, really. You got to pay for quite a bit of services to be able to really get what you want out of it. I've had people come through and close a client on $3,000 a month retail rate on it, and they pay us $300 a month. You need to put the money in to get the results for the bigger clients. It's really, really important. Okay, everyone. So that concludes the role play on meeting 1, meeting 2, and meeting 3. We cut things a little bit short in meeting 3 because we're running over by so much. This is our first role play webinar that we've done like this. We've done less organized ones in the past. Does anyone have any feedback for us in terms of the role play, how to structure it? What did you get out of it? Is this a different type of a training that appeals to you? Great. Sometimes it's just nice to hear it. And Trevor was a right staunch client. Not an easy guy to get through. I mean, yeah, you're going to run into people like that, and you might run into people that are much more difficult as well. But you got to be able to plow through them if you need to. If they tell you not to contact me again, fine, don't. Otherwise, knock them down. So in terms of what people want to see moving forward in the future, my vision with the Ultimate Sales Battle is to have different types of clients that we're going to pitch. So this client, This client had no rankings. This client had no technical knowledge. This client had average budget to be working with. So maybe on a different one we would, for instance, switch it up. What if someone has marketing knowledge? What if they are more technical? What if they already have a pretty good online presence and it's not just horrible? How do you deal with a situation like that? So we want to switch these up and have a different client profile each time we do the sales battle, and have on different situations and scenarios so that you can continue to listen to it. Yes, it would be cool if we had a real client on the line and a real gatekeeper, but Sandra says, for the services you're proposing to the dentist, roughly how much per month would you put into Endless Rise? For the $17.50 that they'd be charged, to be putting roughly $800 to $900 into Endless Rise. Yeah, Ray's saying, I'd like to see you do a role play with someone that is a larger company. And yeah, that's a completely different situation. It's difficult to do role plays on much larger situations because they really take a lot of time. You're trying to get through a company that has a marketing director in place and they've ran SEO before. They already have an SEO situation in place. I mean, it can take some time to get through it. Sometimes it can go really fast, sometimes not. Pam says he kept indicating he wanted to see ROI, but you kept saying improvement. So this will be an objection to handle later. Probably in the check-in meetings. I mean, what you got to understand with ROI is you need to look at traffic versus conversion. So if the traffic's there but they're not getting any new clients, then it's not a traffic problem, it's a conversion problem. But most people that don't know any better always call it a traffic problem. Look, if you're getting 200 people on your site per month and they're not bouncing and you got no new clients, what's wrong? That's not a traffic problem. That's a conversion problem. You're not even converting 1%. Does that make sense? So that's what's difficult. You got to get into the analytics. Showing progress is easy. Showing conversion could be more difficult. Does your practice in a bad neighborhood? Does it look bad inside? Are your rates too high? What's your problem with your company? When people contact you, do you follow back? Who answers your emails? Do you email them back once or do you call them? Do you have an inbound promotion for them? Are you nice on the phone? You know? Mark says, it's better to go after low-hanging fruit, particularly for smaller consultants who haven't hit the big one yet. Absolutely. Those who already have the big clients probably aren't on this training. Yeah. Some people with the larger clients are on the training, but you know, even if you're a larger partner of ours, what this training is valuable for is your sales reps. You know, take the recording, give it to your sales reps, because you're always going to have fresh sales reps, and they're not going to know what they're doing, and these role plays are invaluable for sales reps just to get a feel for it. I mean, you know, in the different situations, just to be able to show them, well, how do you respond when they ask you referrals or testimonials? And you can say, well, you know, it's in that role play training. Listen to that. See how he handled it. That actually works. Sandra says, yeah, we are sending you leads. What are you doing with them? Absolutely. Todd says it's an easier sell if they know a bit about technology or if they actually are. Yeah, well, it is an easier sale. Ray says, I'm impressed, Paul. Can you run through a scenario where you run through the conversion where the client doesn't understand why the website isn't converting well? They wouldn't go for a website redesign, but they did try the social media option. Yeah, maybe another time we can go through that. I mean, that's really going to be on your side, but we can educate you on that. I mean, if someone doesn't have a mobile responsive site, that's Basics 101. If they love their site and they're not willing to change their brand image, then what can you do, really? You can be very blatant with them, but at the end of the day, what can you do? And there's not a lot that you can do, right? There really isn't. So for the people that are left on the line that were asking, how do I get to these keyword ranking dashboard here? And how do I get to this competition analysis, which is so ridiculously powerful? If you don't know how to get into this, you have to be able to get into this. You go into your dashboard here and you go to services. And from services, you want to make sure that you select an SEO service of some sort and go through and fill out the intake information. And from there, what it's going to do is it's going to send it through to your sales consultant who you have standing by live to help consult you, and they're going to do that research for you. How cool is that? Real people doing real research. So make sure that you're engaging. Get in your dashboard, pop out the customer support, check out your dedicated marketing consultant, or contact the general sales department. Get into the services and put through a service request. And from there, select SEO, and you'll be dumped in the proposals module, and we'll create for you this keyword ranking analysis and the competition analysis. You notice how powerful this competition analysis is? All you got to do is put through a proposal request, communicate with your dedicated sales consultant, and let them help you out. But just like I did, I picked this dentist out online. I found them where they weren't performing and figured it out. Sandra says the competition analysis is always local. Well, it can be. It doesn't have to be. It can be national. Ricardo says, would you offer Facebook and Twitter as well to improve the branding? Yeah, I mean, we have the Facebook and Twitter set up. Absolutely. And Facebook and Twitter marketing packages in the social media. Stanley says, how can I renew my account access with you? If you don't have access into your dashboard, you can contact, if you look at my screen here, you can contact Judy at endlessrise.com, and I'll put that through the public chat to entire audience. Send. All right, everyone. I appreciate you being on the webinar. You know, the lead generation, there's a lot of different tools. There's education on it in our video library and the webinar archive on how to generate leads. Or you could do something as simple as what I did. I combed through some sites in Google Maps, found someone not ranking, found some issues on their site, and started targeting them. And that's really, you can always go after it. Put through a proposal request in the dashboard. Even if you don't close it, let the team do research for you and interface with your sales consultant and see what you can do to close them down. That's why we staff these people and we give you the manual human research there to help you close your sales. So, you know, I just would like to motivate everyone to get engaged, find potential clients you can track down, have the courage to get on the phone and try to help them. Because at the end of the day, they need your help. And that's the way that you need to be thinking of it through your head. You're not bothering them. You're not hassling them. They have a problem, and they don't know that you can help them, nor do they trust you. And it's your job to gain that trust and help their company. Okay? So everyone, I hope that you learned a lot from the role play webinar. Our goal is to give you the confidence to hear how to talk on the phone and how to get through difficult situations and to make it as real as we can so that you do understand that, yeah, the sales arena around online marketing isn't easy. And you're going to go up against people that are busy people that own companies that don't have a lot of time to talk to you. And if you're passive and if you're completely on soft sales, you're going to have to figure out how to bring some sort of a sense of urgency to the table and get a little bit aggressive, not too aggressive, but you're going to have to get a little bit aggressive to get those sales knocked down. At the end of the day, the best salesman wins. That's just the way that it is. So everyone, have a wonderful day.